In a development that signals a moment of continuity, stability, and renewed focus on transformation in South Africa's infrastructure development landscape, the re-election of Mavuso Msimang Hill as the chairperson of the Independent Development Trust (IDT) has been warmly welcomed by Deputy Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, Sihle Macpherson. This announcement may not be making mainstream headlines, but for those who understand the core role that the IDT plays in shaping service delivery, infrastructure rollout, and community upliftment across the country, this re-election carries significant implications. Hill's steady and experienced hand at the helm of the IDT is not just a bureaucratic appointment, it's a strategic anchor in a stormy sea of institutional instability, service delivery protests, and mounting public pressure for tangible developmental results. South Africa's public entities have often been plagued by governance failures, political interference, and lack of direction, but Hill's leadership has brought a sense of accountability and vision that many feel is desperately needed. His reappointment isn't just business as usual, it is an affirmation of a specific approach to leadership, grounded, firm, integrity-driven, and results-oriented. Sihle Macpherson's endorsement of Hill's re-election speaks volumes about the strategic intent of the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, DPWI. In his public statement, Macpherson described Hill as a stabilizing force and praised his unwavering commitment to ethical governance, transparency, and developmental justice. Mr. Hill represents the kind of leadership that can steer this institution through complex challenges while keeping the people of South Africa at the heart of every project, Macpherson said. We welcome his re-election and we are confident that under his chairmanship, the IDT will continue to advance its mandate of delivering social infrastructure efficiently and equitably. But what exactly does this re-election mean for ordinary South Africans? Why should anyone, from a rural school teacher in Limpopo to a young unemployed graduate in the Eastern Cape, care about who chairs the IDT board? To answer this, we have to understand what the IDT is, what it does, and why leadership at its highest level matters so much right now. The IDT is a national development agency that plays a critical role in implementing government infrastructure projects, especially those tied to social development. From building schools, clinics, community centers, and housing projects to overseeing key components of the Expanded Public Works Program (EPWP), the IDT is one of the most practical arms of government when it comes to delivering real, visible change on the ground. It serves as a link between the state's lofty policy ambitions and the actual bricks-and-mortar reality of communities. In a country with massive service delivery backlogs and rising frustration among the poor and working class, this makes the IDT a frontline institution in the struggle to improve people's lives. The re-election of Hill as chairperson comes at a time when the IDT is undergoing deep structural and financial reforms. The entity has, in recent years, faced a series of existential questions about its future, its funding model, and its relevance in a changing developmental landscape. There were even discussions at one point about whether it should be absorbed into the DPWI or completely overhauled. But instead of retreating into the background, the IDT under Hill's leadership has sought to adapt, re-strategize, and reassert its relevance. Macpherson acknowledged these efforts, stating that Hill had been instrumental in restoring confidence in the institution. He has led the board through a period of transition, navigating funding challenges, aligning the entity's strategy with the broader government agenda, and fostering a culture of accountability and performance, he said. What makes Hill's leadership unique is not just his administrative expertise but his political maturity. He understands that running an entity like the IDT requires not just financial and operational oversight but also an ability to engage constructively with government departments, provincial and local structures, contractors, communities, and civil society. He has emphasized inclusive development, ensuring that local labor is used in projects, that small contractors are empowered, and that the IDT does not become a bureaucratic silo disconnected from the people it serves. Macpherson's words are more than ceremonial, they point to a broader recognition within government that leadership makes or breaks public institutions. And this recognition comes against a sobering backdrop. Many of South Africa's state-owned entities and agencies have been brought to their knees by mismanagement, political patronage, and internal squabbles. The IDT itself has not been immune. In years past, it has been hit by allegations of mismanagement, delayed projects, and underperformance. But under Hill's chairmanship, there has been a clear effort to chart a different course. It's also important to note that this moment of continuity arrives during a particularly sensitive political climate. With coalition governments taking shape at various levels following the recent national elections, political pressure is mounting across all sectors. Service delivery protests are again on the rise, unemployment remains stubbornly high, and people are growing increasingly disillusioned with state institutions. In this context, institutions like the IDT must not only function, they must inspire trust. They must demonstrate that government can indeed deliver, that projects can be completed on time, within budget, and with real impact. Hill's re-election suggests that those tasked with appointing leadership are finally beginning to prioritize competence over connections, vision over vanity, and service over slogans. Macpherson's strong support reinforces the importance of continuity in leadership, especially when that leadership has already demonstrated an ability to drive change. This move also gives the IDT board a measure of stability that has been rare in the past. Too often, boards of public entities are reshuffled with every change in political leadership, disrupting progress and creating a cycle of start-again governance. Hill's re-election breaks that cycle. It allows for the continuation of long-term planning, the deepening of partnerships with provincial and local governments, and the strengthening of internal governance systems that are critical for performance. It's not all sunshine, of course. Challenges remain. The IDT still faces pressure to expand its project pipeline, to secure more consistent funding streams, and to improve turnaround times on key infrastructure programs. Communities that have waited years for schools or clinics won't be satisfied with boardroom rhetoric. They want results. And that's where the pressure now turns to the entire IDT board, led by Hill, to prove that they can deliver under tough conditions. The scrutiny will be intense. The expectations will be high. And the timelines will be tight. Macpherson's comments also hint at an evolving vision for infrastructure development. We are not just building infrastructure, we are building hope, dignity, and opportunity, he said. That kind of framing shifts the discussion from one of mere technical output to one of developmental justice. It places infrastructure at the center of South Africa's nation-building project.